Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Michael Kane. Today, we will look at another hidden side of female behavior. Let's talk about one of the most confusing behaviors in relationships. When a woman goes silent after a fight. You know that feeling. You've argued, emotions ran high, and suddenly, silence. No texts, no reaction. Just that cold distance that makes your stomach tighten. You start replaying every word in your head. Did I go too far? Did I miss something? You think she's calming down, but the truth is, her silence isn't absence. It's communication, a language most men never learn to understand. Now, don't rush to think it's manipulation. Sometimes it is, but often it's self-protection. Silence gives her control when she feels emotionally overwhelmed. It's how she regains balance. When words could hurt or backfire, quiet feels safer. But here's the paradox. That same silence, meant to protect her, often turns into a form of control, because silence shifts emotional tension from her to you. Suddenly, you're the one chasing, apologizing, trying to fix it. Even when you're not sure what went wrong, it's not always intentional, but silence changes the power dynamic, and most men don't know how to handle that shift. From my experience, when a woman stops talking after conflict, she's doing one of three things. 1. Protecting herself from emotional overload. 2. Testing if you'll chase her emotionally. 3. Regaining a sense of control after feeling unheard. In every case, silence has meaning. It's not nothing. It's a signal. And yet, here's the trap. Men are wired to fix problems. So when she goes silent, you talk more. You explain, you apologize, you overthink. You throw words at the silence, and every one of them makes it worse, because you're reacting outwardly while she's reacting inwardly. You're trying to repair something she's still processing. It's like trying to reboot a computer that's still updating. In therapy, I've heard women say, "I didn't talk because he wouldn't listen anyway." That sentence explains everything. For many women, silence replaces trust. When they feel words won't bring understanding, they go quiet. Not to punish, but to protect. But that silence builds walls, not bridges. You see, she's protecting herself, but it feels to you like she's rejecting you. And that misunderstanding turns distance into disconnection. It's not the argument that breaks relationships. It's the silence that follows. So what do? You don't fight the silence, and you don't rush to fill it. You hold your ground. You stay present, calm, emotionally steady. Let her feel that your peace doesn't depend on her words. When you do that, something powerful happens. You stop reacting to her silence and start regulating it. Because silence only controls you when you fear it. Once you stay calm, it loses power. Now, silence isn't always innocent. Sometimes, yes, it's a way to test your reaction. A way to say, "You hurt me, now prove you care." That's not communication. That's emotional leverage. Some people learn early that silence gets more attention than words. When they speak, they're debated. When they're quiet, they're chased. Over time, this becomes habit. Not a sign of peace, but a strategy for control. You can tell the difference. If her silence feels soft, distant, reflective, she's calming herself. If it feels cold, tense, punishing, she's controlling the narrative. One comes from pain, the other from power. Here's what I tell my clients. You don't have to react. You can choose emotional leadership. That means, instead of trying to fix her silence, you regulate your response. You breathe, think, stay grounded. You respect her need for space without surrendering your sense of self. And it works. I've seen men transform relationships just by staying calm. A client once told me, after our argument, she didn't talk to me for 2 days. I kept texting at first, trying to make her respond. Then I stopped. I just carried on with my day, calmly. A day later, she messaged, "I'm ready to talk." That was the first time our fight didn't feel like a power struggle. What happened there? He didn't reward silence with panic. He replaced reaction with stability. That's emotional strength. That's what builds respect. And look, this isn't about ignoring her feelings. It's about protecting both of yours. You can care deeply and still stay centered. That's emotional balance, not coldness. Healthy masculinity isn't loud or dominant. It's grounded. It's being able to say, "I'm not here to win this argument. I'm here to understand it." When a woman feels that energy, she doesn't need silence to feel safe anymore. Because your calm gives her space to open up again. You see, you don't break silence by talking louder. You break it by listening deeper. Even when no one's speaking, So next time it happens, she's quiet, distant, unreadable. Don't panic. Ask yourself, is she trying to hurt me or heal herself? If it's the second, give her space. If it's the first, give yourself boundaries. Either way, you win your peace back. And that's what emotional intelligence really means. Not knowing what to say, but knowing when not to. Because at the end of the day, the man who can stay calm in her silence is the man she'll eventually trust to listen when she finally speaks. Let's talk about it. Because silence isn't one thing, it has faces. Sometimes it's healing, sometimes it's power, sometimes it's distance. The key is to know which one you're dealing with and what to do next. 1. The silence of healing. Not every silence is manipulation. Sometimes she's quiet because she's trying not to explode. Women process emotion inwardly. They need time to sort feelings before they speak. If you push, she'll speak from confusion. If you wait, she'll speak from clarity. So when she says nothing, try. Take all the time you need. I'm here when you're ready. That simple line tells her you're grounded. Your calm gives her safety, and safety brings her back faster than pressure ever will. 2. The silence of power. This one's the mind game. She's not calming down. She's regaining control. It happens when ego, pride, or fear kick in. Silence becomes a way to test your reaction. If you chase her quiet, you hand her emotional leverage. If you stay composed, you take it back. Don't lecture, don't sulk, don't mirror her distance. Just acknowledge it and focus on yourself. I respect your space. I'll use this time to reset too. Then actually do that. Work out, build, live. Power games die when they meet a man who doesn't play them. Real authority is emotional steadiness, not dominance. 3. The silence of distance. And this one hurts. It's not control, it's detachment. You'll feel it. Less tension, more emptiness. That's not I'm mad. That's I've moved on. Don't flood her with messages or questions. Go honest and calm. I feel some distance. Are we still in this together, or are you stepping away? Then listen, really listen. You can't argue someone back into connection, but you can walk away with dignity and peace. Humor. Break a couple once told me, she can stay silent for days. And she said, that's because he keeps saying the wrong things. I told them, you're both trying to win the last word, and sometimes the last word is no word. They laughed. And in that laughter, the silence broke. Humor heals faster than analysis sometimes. What silence really says. Here's the thing most men miss. When she's silent, she's not always withdrawing from you. She's withdrawing from the chaos. It's not rejection, it's regulation. Men talk to think. Women think to talk. So her pause is often protection, not punishment. And when you learn to stay calm through that, you become the peace she didn't know she needed. Reconnecting. If the quiet stretches too long, don't start with accusation. Start with presence. I know we both needed space. I'd like to reconnect when you're ready. No drama, no tension, just balance. Your tone matters more than your words. She hears your emotional state before she hears the sentence. Peace invites, pressure repels. Mirror moment, silence is a mirror. Men go quiet too. We just call it needing space. So instead of judging her for silence, ask, what need is she protecting right now? And when you go quiet, ask, what truth am I avoiding? That's how you turn silence into understanding. The bright side, silence isn't the enemy of love. Immaturity is. Handled well, silence becomes reflection. It gives space for empathy, for growth, for perspective. Healthy relationships don't need constant noise. They need clarity and respect for emotional rhythm. Final words. When she goes quiet after a fight, remember, that's not a verdict. It's an opportunity. You can chase, or you can listen. You can panic, or you can breathe. The outcome doesn't depend on her silence. It depends on your reaction to it. So next time, instead of asking, why isn't she talking? Ask, what is her silence trying to tell me? Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's pride. Maybe it's peace waiting for permission to return. Give it that permission with your calm. Because strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, patient, and deeply aware. So stay still, stay wise, and let understanding grow in the silence. You know, most people think communication means talking, But in truth, the most powerful conversations often happen in silence. When words stop, awareness begins. In the silence that follows a fight, it's not always punishment. Sometimes it's the only space where honesty can breathe. The power of stillness after the storm, there's that quiet, heavy, uncertain. And you start to wonder, is she gone? Did I say too much? But silence isn't always a sign of ending. It's often a test of stability. If your instinct is panic, you lose yourself in the noise. If your instinct is calm, she feels it, even in silence. That's what women respond to most. Not control, but composure. Not dominance, but peace. Because deep down, every woman wants one thing: safety. And silence, for many, is just a search for it. From control to connection. Don't rush to fix her silence. She doesn't want a solution. She wants to feel understood. When you try to explain too soon, she feels unheard. But when you simply hold the space, she feels seen. You don't need to fill the gap with words. You just need to be a steady presence in it. The less you push, the faster she returns. Because calm is contagious, and trust grows in quiet. The shift after a fight, her silence usually has one goal: to sense whether it's safe to reconnect. She's not testing you out of cruelty. She's checking if your energy is grounded. If you chase, she closes. If you wait calmly, she opens. That's emotional gravity, the natural pull of a man who isn't ruled by fear. No drama, no games, just quiet strength, humor, and humanity. I once had a guy tell me, "Doc, I did what you said. I didn't text her after the argument. Now she's mad I didn't text." I laughed and told him, "Good, you're learning balance." Because relationships are funny that way. We all want space, but we also want proof that we matter. The trick isn't to play along, it's to stay kind and calm at the same time. The inner lesson: her silence isn't just about her. It reveals you. It shows how comfortable you are with uncertainty. If you can sit in that quiet without anxiety, you're already showing emotional maturity. When you stop fearing silence, you stop reacting and start leading with peace. That's when she feels she can trust you again. The reconnection. When the quiet finally breaks, maybe a hey or a soft message, that's your moment. Don't interrogate it. Don't demand closure. Just say something simple like, "I'm glad you're talking again. I miss this." That one honest sentence rebuilds more connection than an hour of over-explaining ever could. The beauty of calm. Your calm isn't silence, it's presence. It tells her, you don't need to fight to be heard here. That's the energy that melts defenses. Because emotional safety isn't about perfection, it's about predictability. She doesn't need you to be right. She needs you to be steady. The lesson. So next time she goes quiet, don't panic, don't chase, don't fill the space. Just breathe. Ask yourself, what is this silence asking from me? Patience, reassurance, or distance? Then act from that awareness. Silence isn't an obstacle. It's an invitation to listen deeper, to connect without words. And when you can do that, you move from reaction to understanding, from confusion to clarity, from control to connection. Final words. When she's quiet, don't see it as rejection. See it as reflection. Your calm becomes her signal that everything's safe again. And that's when she starts to speak. Not out of defense, but out of trust. So stay grounded. Stay patient. Because the man who can understand what's not being said is the one who never loses connection. Don't try to control a woman. Learn to understand her. Subscribe if you want to see what most men never notice.